But now to Formula One, which resumes this weekend. It's the Belgian Grand Prix. You'll see it live, of course, on Sky Sports F1. Lewis Hamilton went into the summer break with an 8-point lead over Max Verstappen. Let's head to Spa now. Our reporter Craig Slater is there for us, seemingly by a roundabout. Hi there, Craig.
Yes, hello to you. Well, I mean, it's been the ultimate road trip, this 2021 F1 season. Crofty here, David Croft, lead commentator on Sky Sports F1, is with me. We haven't hitchhiked here, but it is that fork in the road, potentially, this moment in the season, halfway point and all that. How significant is this race in deciding which way the title goes, to Hamilton or to Verstappen? What do you think?
I think for Max Verstappen it's more significant than Lewis Hamilton. This is the first, arguably, of two home races for Max Verstappen. He was born in Belgium. He's got the Dutch Grand Prix next week, but there'll be 90% Dutch fans here at Spa this weekend cheering him on, and he needs some good cheer. A 33-point lead is now an 8-point deficit for Max Verstappen. He's had first lap accidents in the last two races. Hungary was brutal for Max Verstappen. It was brilliant for Lewis Hamilton, even though he didn't win the race. He would have gone into the summer break thinking, well, look, this is the perfect scenario. I did not expect to be leading by 8 points. Max is kind of left with 3 weeks to lick his wounds a little bit and to be raring to go. But the test for me, Craig, now is how does Max Verstappen cope with the second half of a season going for a title in a situation he's never been in before in single-seaters and in Formula One. He's never won a championship. Lewis has won 7 of them. He's never led the Formula One championship before this season. He doesn't know from experience how to cope with the pressure that's going to be on his shoulders, but Lewis does. So, look, if we're going to go round and round in circles on this one, do the signs point to Lewis Hamilton for a victory? Form says yes, experience says yes, but Verstappen might also have the best car. So we're still going round and round in circles.
OK, we had all the fallout from the coming together at Silverstone. One or two quite bitter words exchanged between the two teams and the two camps. How hostile could it be for Lewis over these two races?
Well, I think from the crowd perspective, very hostile, but kind of pantomime hostile almost. It's the Dutch fans cheering for their Dutch hero. It's not anti-Lewis, it's pro-Max. But there'll be a few British fans, I would hope as well, that have been allowed to come to Belgium. But Lewis, once the visor goes down, he won't be worrying about that. It'll be the before and after scenario. I don't think it'll affect the racing. What will affect the racing is the close combat we've had in the first 11 races so far, and both drivers desperate need to put one over on the other because they know from now on in every point is precious.
Okay. Just finally, we're coming up to transfer deadline day. You'll be monitoring West Ham's signing. David
no movement yet. Come on, guys, what's going on?
But what about the big transfer story in F1? Whether George Russell will go to Mercedes. He hoped to have the answer by the summer break. We haven't heard yet. My question to you is, he's on the Mercedes development programme. If there were no Mercedes development programme, would they even be thinking, would Toto Wolff even be thinking about changing the Hamilton-Bottas lineup now?
I think that's a really good point. No, I don't think they would. What's Valtteri Bottas done wrong in the last 2 years? He's finished runner-up to his teammate, who was the world champion. Maybe you could argue his form this year, he hasn't looked like winning a race necessarily. He's got 6 podiums, but he hasn't stood on the top step. Does he need to offer a more winning threat for Mercedes? But no, if George Russell wasn't a Mercedes youngster in the waiting, then no, I don't think they'd be looking elsewhere. But Mercedes know they need to put George into that top seat or they risk losing him. George Russell could be, well, he is the Harry Kane of the Formula One world, isn't he? He wants to go because he's ambitious and he wants success, but he might have to stay if Toto Wolff doesn't want to upset the balance of what he's got at Mercedes already. I don't think we're any closer to knowing the answer. Certainly nothing I'm hearing from the team is going to give us an announcement this weekend, but I would hope the deal has been done and that the drivers have been informed, because to keep them waiting any longer, is that really fair? And it could affect their performance on the track.
Okay, great stuff, Crofty. Crofty also enjoying the cricket today, India being skittled
very
out,
much so.
We should also note that Lewis Hamilton can bring up a century of Grand Prix victories this weekend, which would be a truly historic moment, not just for British motorsport, but for British sport full stop.
Absolutely.